Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Sarah Newman, and I'm excited to bring you the 20th episode of Mixed Media, The Paper Wishes Way. Today, we're going to continue playing with Ranger's alcohol inks. Now, in Mixed Media number 19 last week, we worked with a variety of colors on yupo using the blending solution and the applicator. Well, today we're going to build on those techniques with the addition of metallic alcohol inks. And these give a beautiful effect whether you use them singly with each other or in combination with the colored inks. Now also today, I'm going to be using the Remnants paper pack from 49 and Market. Now this collection has 4 sheets of 12 by 12 inch double-sided papers, plus 2 sheets of really intricately cut laser cut elements and something like this. You can see how beautiful and delicate this is. Now these soft, subtle colors work really beautifully with the inks, especially the metallics. Now, I have 3 cards to share with you in today's webisode. I'm really glad that you're joining us today, so come play with us. Let's start with our alcohol inks. Now, as you know from last week, these are fast-drying, dye-based transparent inks, and they're specially formulated for non-porous surfaces. And that would be something like glossy cardstock or acetate, plastic, metal, and of course our yupo paper. So today we're going to be working with 3 different sets, and I've got a swatch sheet for us here. We're going to be working first of all with Summit View. Now this has Sunshine Yellow, Sunset Orange, and Purple Twilight in the trio. We also have Mariner, which includes Indigo, Mermaid, and Teakwood. Plus, we've got 3 metallics. So we have Foundry, Mind, and Gilded. And you could think of these as silver, copper, and gold. Although I would say, really looking at it up close, the Foundry happens to have a bit of gold among the silver in there. Now, all of these swatches are pure color, so I didn't use any blending solution when I applied these right onto little pieces of yupo. Now, of course, you're going to get some different effects depending on whether you use blending solution and, of course, how much you use. And we're going to explore a little bit more of that today. Okay, so let's take a look at how to apply these inks onto our surface. And the simplest way is to just drop them on. Now, I'm going to be working with our alcohol ink yupo paper for this. And this is what I'm going to be using throughout today's video. So it's going to come in a package like this. They are great surfaces for doing your alcohol inking on. You can cut yupo, you can die cut it, but you can't tear it. It won't warp or buckle. This is a smooth, synthetic, heavyweight surface, non-porous, so of course it's perfect for our alcohol inks. Okay, I'm going to grab a couple of inks here. I've got the Purple Twilight. You can see that I've used this well. I'm going to work in also a bit of Mermaid. Let me get the Mermaid out of my package here. So you can cross-use these between the different packages as well. And I'm also going to work in a little bit of this Gilded. Now with the metallic inks, you do want to give them a good shake and make sure that that mixing ball in there is rattling so that you know that the pigment has all been mixed. Okay, I'm going to start with my Mermaid here and just drop on a few drops. And you can see that this is beginning to spread out. And then I'm going to come in with the Twilight and add some in here. And then let's go with this beautiful Gilded. And I think you can see how these colors are really mixing together just so beautifully. Okay, so we're going to let those start to work and blend in together. And you'll notice I'm working onto my craft mat, which is also going to protect my work surface. Now I can leave this as it is because I think this looks pretty cool, but we can also add in a bit of the blending solution. So the blending solution, as you may guess from the name, is meant to blend the colors together, and it will also lighten them a bit. So I'm just dropping this color in here too, and you can see how it's impacting those beautiful colors. You can see it's kind of breaking up some of the metallic, really lightening in here between that beautiful Mermaid and the Twilight. And you can create a different look absolutely every single time you do this. I'm just enjoying watching the magic of these mixtures coming together and blending. Absolutely beautiful. Now I just need to let this air dry, and then I'll be ready to use it on a card or other project. So you may be wondering, what's the difference between the yupo and using alcohol inks on regular cardstock? We talked about this a little bit last week. So I'll show you. I've just got some plain sturdy weight white cardstock here, and I'll just drop on a little bit of the mermaid, and you can see it's not nearly as exciting as it is on the yupo. And also with the gilded, let's drop on a little bit of this too. You can see that that just kind of sits there. It's not really doing anything interesting or exciting. It is going to get a little halo around the outside edge there too. Also then on the back, you're going to have it kind of seeping through there as well. So definitely go with a non-porous surface, something like this gorgeous yupo paper, which will give you really beautiful effects. And then you can go ahead once this is dry and use it however you wish. Now this is just one approach to alcohol inks, and we've got a couple more tricks up our sleeves. So let's take a look at some other techniques. You can see my metallic background down here at the bottom of this card. Now to get this effect, I applied both foundry and gilded metallic inks using the alcohol ink applicator. So let's take a look at this process. I'm going to move aside my card. I've got my yupo ready to go. I've already given my metallic alcohol inks a bit of a shake, so the mixing ball has done its work. And I've got those two ready on standby. Now I've also got my alcohol ink applicator, and you'll notice I've got a little piece of white felt that's just stuck onto the Velcro portion of this. Now the white felt comes with your alcohol ink applicator, and of course you can also get the refill felt pieces as well. So got that all ready to go. All I need to do is add a few drops of the alcohol ink right onto that felt pad. Now when I do this, I'm not overlapping them, kind of placing them next to each other. And then I'm going to bring in my blending solution. Now this is an optional step. I like to add a little bit of blending solution just to get the ink flowing. So I've added a few drops on there, and then I'm just simply going to turn and pounce my applicator onto my yupo paper, and that's going to create a really pretty pattern and design. A little bit random, overlapping. I've still got some of the white from that yupo showing, which I also like too. Now you can add as much or as little as you want. You can keep working and reworking. You can add more blending solution on here if you want to. I really like having the white of that yupo show through though too. It kind of gives you a third color. And then again, all you need to do is just let this dry, and it's ready to be used in your artwork. Okay, I'm going to put some caps back onto my alcohol inks just to make sure I don't knock one of those over and send it flying. And then let's take another look at the card. So I'm going to bring this back in. And as you can see, it's down here at the bottom. This is that beautiful portion of metallic gold and silver. Absolutely stunning. I just love this. Now for the rest of the card, I just simply covered the card front with paper from the Remnants collection. And then I added die cut elements as my focal. And some of these are up on foam tape and layered. I've got a Miss You dazzle down here, and I love how the metallic dazzles just add the perfect touch and coordinate with the metallic inks. Now for the card inside, I'm using more die cuts from the paper pack, plus another dazzle sentiment. I've got another card I want to show you, so I'm going to bring this one in. This is a slimline card, a new size that I'm really enjoying working with. And this one combines teakwood alcohol ink with Mind. Now Mind is the metallic color, and the teakwood is a beautiful rich brown. So let me grab another piece of yupo and let's take a look at this. So I've got Mind, which is that gorgeous copper, and the teakwood. I'm going to set those together, shake up my Mind, and Make sure that that's really well blended. Don't have to do it with the teak wood, of course. And then I'm going to also make sure I've got my blending solution on hand. So I'm going to start with my teak wood and just drop some of this color on. Let that kind of work its way and blend out. It's a really nice, rich, dark color. And then I'll come back with the mind and kind of add that in separate places. You can sort of put them together if you want to. Drop one color into the center of another color. It's a bit hypnotizing, doesn't it? And maybe some by itself. Now, I always like to let the colors sort of blend out on their own. And then I'll come in with my blending solution. And this way I can have a little bit better idea where I still want colors to blend. So here we go. Take a look. Absolutely beautiful. Now, of course, the more blending solution I add on here, the more diluted the colors will be and the more the pattern will break up. So it really just depends on how much you want to add in here. Okay, let's take another look back at the card. You can see I use quite a lot of blending solution on here. I've got a lot of blended areas. And again, what I've done is use some of the die cuts from the Remnants paper pack. I've got just a simple strip of pattern paper on here. And of course, a dazzle greeting. On the card inside, I've got another strip of that colored yupo. Of course, you can use every last little bit of it, and a couple more die cut elements on here as well. Okay, so for the third card that I want to show you, let me bring this in. Now, this is one where I really just fell in love with this color combination and that bright, beautiful blue. So this is a combination of Mind, which is that copper, and Gilded Metallic Alcohol Inks plus indigo. So let's take a look at how to do this one. Again, I'll grab another piece of our yupo, and I've got Mind, and I've got Gilded, so my copper and my gold, and then I've also got my indigo, which is that bright, beautiful blue. I also have my blending solution on hand for this too. So in this case, what I'm going to do is drop on my metallics. Drop these on. There we go. And here's the Mind, that beautiful copper. And then I'm going to add a bit of blending solution. And I'm going to let that do its magic as well. And while these are reacting to one another, I'm going to give a little bit of a pause in here and just let them do their magic before I come in with my indigo. I kind of want to let them have a chance to interact before I work in my next color. And I think, since they dry so quickly, I think I may be at the point where I want to come in. So now I've got my indigo, and I'm just going to drop this in between some of these colors, right where that blending solution is. So I'm able to keep the colors pretty well isolated. And again, just let these blend and work together. Now what I'll do is just let this dry the way it is. If I wanted to add in another little bit of blending solution here, I can do that. And just let that do its magic. Now I'm going to slowly and carefully move this aside, bring back in my original card, and we can take a look at this. You can see I kept the rest of this really simple, just an oval die cut focal and dazzle greeting on here with a bit of metallic ribbon. I've got this entire panel up on foam tape. With really simple, clean and simple cards, I like to work in a lot of foam tape so it gets a nice bit of dimension. And then for the card inside, another piece of that beautiful metallic and indigo yupo paper, as well as another oval kind of backing behind this strip with, again, another dazzle greeting. I have one more quick and easy technique I want to show you, and I really like this one because it gives you two backgrounds in one go. So we're going to start out with our blending solution and two alcohol inks, and I'm going to be using the Sunset Orange and Mermaid for this. So I'm going to set these two aside. I've got two pieces of yupo cut about the same size, so I've got that ready to go. I only need one to start with, so I'm going to set aside the other one. For now, I've got my alcohol inks on hand, and I'm going to start by putting my blending solution onto my yupo first. So I know that you can't see it because it's clear, but once I add in my color, you will see. So this is the sunset, and I'll drop this on. Now, because I've already got the blending solution on here, it will already be spreading out. So I only need a couple of drops on there. I don't need to overdo it. Let's come in with the mermaid and put a few drops of this down too. Maybe a little bit up here in the corner. Again, kind of spacing things out. I'm going to let those kind of spread out and then come back with a bit more blending solution. And just make sure that I've got a nice wet area here. Okay, so all of those colors are really blending out. Now I don't want to overdo it. I don't want it really saturated, but I do want it pretty wet because now I'm going to come in with my second piece of yupo and I'm just going to set it on top. Kind of gently tap it on there with my inky fingers. I don't want to squash the two of them together, but I do want them to make contact. And then what I'm going to do is just gently lift the top one off. And you can see I've got a beautiful blended effect. I'm going to mop this up quickly. It's the beauty of the craft mat. It cleans up so nicely. And you can see I've got a mirror image, but I've got some beautiful swirly soft colors on here. Now again, I just need to let these air dry and then they'll be ready for use. So I'm going to set them aside because they are still pretty wet and quickly clean this up a little bit more. And I'll show you a couple of other examples I did with this same technique. So these two are using Sunset Orange, Teakwood, and Gilded. And I have to tell you, when I first separated these two, I thought it looked dreadful. And when it dried, it somehow became really beautiful. So sometimes you have to let the alcohol ink dry and really settle before you cast judgment on it. And then here's another set that I made as well. And this is using the Sunshine Yellow and instead of the orange. And you can see how that turns into a beautiful green color in here too. And I've also got some of the Gilded metallic alcohol ink. And that's going to create a really beautiful effect too. So you can see the mirror image effect of these two as well. And also some of the really pretty striations in here. So those are a couple of others. Now this one here is one that I did with Purple Twilight, Sunshine, and Gilded. So there's the Gilded coming through here, that beautiful soft metallic. And it's going to give me just a really pretty and gentle effect. Now there are lots of techniques that you can do here. You can die cut this, you can do all kinds of cool different things. I decided to keep it pretty simple and took the partner piece of this and just added a dazzle down at the bottom and kind of position this onto my card front like so. And then I thought I'll just take one of the die cuts from the Remnants collection, really pretty botanical silhouette, and could just pop that down there and maybe add a little bit of gold metallic ribbon just to coordinate with the gold in the background piece. So as you can see, you've got a really pretty instant card or the start to a card if you wanted to add some additional embellishments and even more onto the front. This is also a really great technique if you like to batch make your backgrounds so you can have a really nice stash on hand, like as you can see I already do just from my quick session recently. So with this last card, I think we can see just how much fun we can have with alcohol inks, especially when we add in metallics. And do be sure to check out last week's Mixed Media number 19 for even more alcohol ink projects. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for being a part of the Paper Wishes family. We're glad that you're here with us, and I can't wait to see what you create. Be sure to leave a comment. We love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately, and you can see them below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For the money saver, just see this webisode on paperwishes.com.